Hi and welcome to day 3 of our training. I hope you've had some insights and reflections on your business so far. Today we're looking at what I like to call money samskaras. Samskaras, as I've said before, are the conditioning within our unconscious and subconscious minds. They're mental imprints within the deeper layers of our psyche. And they're often running the show. Sometimes they're helpful and sometimes they're unhelpful. So when I say money samskaras, I mean the limiting beliefs we have around money. And this is really a big one, especially for our heart-led businesses. You may also have another business in healing or other therapies or massage. So usually our soul-led businesses are from our heart, and often the issue of what should we charge, the question around charging for our services. So we're going to look at that. And the biggest thing I feel around this subject is tuning into what abundance means to you. So we talk about money. There's a lot of kind of heavy connotations around money in the modern world, in our modern way of living. But for me, it's about an abundance mindset rather than a lack mindset. And this filters out to every part of our life, including money. And for me, I feel that abundance is, money, I feel that money is an expression of that abundance. Money is just a thing, it's an energy, and it's the beliefs we have on it that create the resistance and the ickiness sometimes around money. So how can we help this? I think a lot of it comes down to our beliefs, what we feel we are worth, and what we feel we deserve, our self-beliefs around what we deserve, we can receive. And so when it comes to our aligned business, creating a thriving, aligned business, before we do any of the external, practical business stuff like marketing, going on social media, selling, etc., it's a really lovely practice to reflect on what our beliefs are saying in the background about what we believe we should receive and what our worth is when we charge. Because if those things aren't looked at and they're a samskara playing in the background, then it doesn't matter how much social media we do, how much we spend on, Facebook ads, doesn't matter how much we charge, we're probably still going to be feeling some disalignment and not feeling financially supported. So I really believe it's all wrapped up together. And I really believe that abundance is abundance. Nature is abundant. I believe that our state of being is abundance. I believe, when we come away from the separation of the ego, we're oneness. That's what yoga philosophy teaches. That universal Om. We are part of that. So when it comes to abundance, if you think about abundance in time, abundance with friends and family, abundance of having food in your fridge, abundance of holidays, abundance of having a home. It can be abundance of everything. Abundance of having energy, abundance of having rest. So if we feel we're lacking in some part of our life, it's going to be possibly what's going on in the background is not feeling worthy of what we want to receive and also not allowing ourselves to receive. An interesting way to see how you're doing on how you are at receiving. So when we want to have more money, we have to be open to receiving without coming from a place of lack. You can tune into things like when someone gives you a compliment, how do you react? Someone's like, oh, I love your top. Oh yeah, this rough thing, it came from a charity shop, £5. Or if someone wants to buy you a coffee, like, oh, no, let me buy you a coffee. These little examples, and you could think of it how, just be aware of how people and the universe is trying to help you and support you, and how sometimes we have these patterns of sometimes not feeling worthy of receiving the help, but also that we've come from a pattern or a story of needing to be independent, and therefore sometimes we're being over-independent, and therefore the universe, support, people, and other ways of working can't come in to allow you to have joy, ease and flow in your business. So these are really important, I think, really important things to look at and things that I have to look at continuously. So when it comes to the money, we're going to also look at the practical side. So that's kind of like mindset, reflection on our beliefs, and there's some journal questions around that. And then when it comes to the practical side of what should I charge mean, it's a very big subject, that's, for another time. But a really simple exercise that you can do, I've attached a PDF sheet of needs and desires. So you can reflect on what are your needs for your business and your life. They would be things like rent, paying the bills, food, and then for your business, it might be your website hosting and things like that, maybe your Canva subscription, things that you need to run your business. And then you've got your desires. Your desires would be things like a training that you want to do, maybe a yoga retreat you want to do. In life, it might be having a massage, having a desire might be, I want more money so that I can have more time off where I can relax with my family. So it's really nice to get clear on what are my needs and what are my desires when it comes to your monthly income figure. And then from there, you know what your financial needs are. So for an example, if you wanted to make £2,000 to cover your needs, you could look at your current offerings or maybe what you want to offer, and you can start to brainstorm what you want to offer, how much a week and at what price so that your needs are met. So for example, if it was £2,000, then in 1 week, if your average hourly rate was about £50, maybe you're offering some one-to-ones and you average about £50 in your classes, then if you taught for 10 hours in 1 week, that would make £500 and £2,000 for the month. So that's really simplifying it. But you can see how working those 10 hours a week at £50 an hour can easily do the maths to make £2,000 a month. And I think it's really important as yoga teachers to have our needs met. We're holding safe spaces for people. And I think it's important that our needs are met as a teacher, as a space holder. And I think because then we're in our own safety and security, and then we can hold a safer space. So this is a great place for you to get creative on what you're offering and maybe even brainstorming other ideas that you might want to offer. And also tuning into how much time you like spending with people or how many days you actually want to work. So when you look at the numbers and what you're offering and how often do you want to work a week and do you want to work with one-to-ones or big groups, etc., then all of this, you can reflect on your own inner alignment, your own uniqueness as a teacher. And I really believe that the more in alignment, the more you make this business work in a way that is unique to you, the more your business will thrive, the better you will feel, you're shining out your energy, the perfect clients are going to come, and the alignment and the flow and the money and the abundance comes. And like I said before, with this abundance, I really feel there's a lot of worthiness. We have to feel worthy of this, and we have to allow it to come to us. We have to be grateful when our students want to pay us and be open for that receiving. This is a whole big subject on its own, but I think it's nice to reflect on abundance and look a little bit at what we're charging and making sure our needs are met. And yeah, so I've left some journal questions there, and you've got a PDF to look at your needs and desires for the month. And I hope that helps. Thank you.